But Gerald Celente joins me for a few minutes here. Wish we had more time. He's the publisher of the TrendsJournal, and he joins me right now. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
I know you got to go, and I've got only a few minutes here, but let's cover what we can. What intrigued me about one of your latest email blasts was what John Connally told Gerald Celente before he died about JFK's assassination and America's future, and I'm just kind of curious as to what he told you.
Well, what he told me is we were coming back from the Anatole. We were going back into the Anatole Hotel after meeting with him on October 25th, 1992. And he said to me that if American people knew what was going on in this country, there'd be a revolution. And this is a guy, that was the governor of Texas, a Democrat, and the Treasury Secretary, a Republican under Nixon. And he was pretty disgusted about what was going on in the nation. And he said if the corruption was so bad and things were so out of line, this is back then, that there'd be a revolution. Now, 20 years later, boy, it looks like he was right.
It's worse than ever. One of the questions I had for you, I've watched some of your stuff on YouTube and stuff, and I had you on years ago. I haven't been able to connect with you in years, but when's the last time you think we had an actual real president of the United States? Was that Kennedy?
I would say Eisenhower.
Eisenhower.
He was a real man. This guy's a 5-star general, supreme commander of the Allied forces. And there was no wars under Eisenhower. He wasn't like these chicken hawks that sent other people to go die for them. Well, they never fought a day in his life. And he was a man of peace. He really was. And he was about the military-industrial complex taking over the nation.
Right.
And now it's not only the military-industrial complex, it's the cyber-industrial complex. It's the militarization of the police forces riding around with these vehicles from the Iraq War. There's pig patrols everywhere. There's no freedom. So this is what he was talking about. It's the merger of state and corporate powers. It's the banking takeover.
Yeah, what's is really interesting is I don't know how Democrats get a pass on this, because certainly you can call Republicans chicken hawks if you want, and we can argue about all of that till the cows come home. But bottom line is, whether it's been Bush in charge or Bush look, my first warning sign was when George Bush the first talked about a new world order, and I'm like, what? New World Order. I'm not for that. But that was my first big red flag years ago. It was probably the first time I became concerned. But I look at whether we've had him or his son or Clinton or Obama in charge, nothing really changes. It just getting progressively worse.
You're right, because it's a mob. I like to call them Democrats, Republicans. How about Bloods and the Crips? I mean, they're murderers and they're thieves. No, I'm serious. They send you to war to get your brains blown out, limbs blown off, or dead, or mind blown. For what? For what? For a fake war? They rob your money. The banks are robbing us. We pay for their bailouts. They're criminals, and nobody wants to. I like my Democrat. I like my Republican. They're like little kids.
I know.
Everybody looking up to these politicians.
I know. Everybody thinks it is Republicans versus Democrats, and where everybody's too lined up for their side, when in fact it's not Republicans versus Democrats. It's us versus them.
You got it. And they are winning because the people are complacent, and they believe in this fairy tale about democracy. This isn't it.
No.
Look, you have a gang of 535. That's how many senators and congressmen are running the show. And they call the money they get adults, like where I grew up, Bronx and Yonkers, we call them bribes and payoffs. Oh, no, they're campaign contributions. Save it. The country, is what Connally has told me. If the people knew what was going on, there'd be a revolution. And now the people do know what's going on.
And there is
Will there be a revolution?
Yeah, man, I don't know. Who does he think killed JFK? Did he ever say anything to you about that?
No, they kept saying they heard 3 shots. They heard 3 shots, and that was it.
He stuck by the 3-shot thing.
Yep.
And does he think they came from behind or the front?
He said the first shot he heard, he turned to his right. He said, I know it was a gunshot because I've been hunting since I'm a little boy. And he said, then I looked over to my left, and there were brains on my shoulders. I know they were brains because my dad was a butcher. And then he said he felt like a pounding on his back, and that's when the bullet went through his back, through his chest, through his hand, and out through his knee.
Wow. But he doesn't, I can't imagine he believes in, and I don't necessarily think that Oswald wasn't involved, but I don't believe the single bullet theory, and I don't believe it was just Oswald acting alone. Do you?
No, I don't know. Look, read my lips, no new taxes.
Yeah.
I didn't have sex with that woman, Lewinsky. I smoked, but I didn't inhale. Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction, ties to Al-Qaeda. Why would I believe one thing they say?
Yeah, I know. And we're sitting here, and it's lie after lie after lie, no matter who is in office. And no matter who's in office, nothing changes. Nothing changes. Everybody thinks it's changing. We're supposed to be out of Afghanistan. Now, supposedly we're going to be.
No, we're not. We're going to be there till 2024.
And then we're supposed to be out of Gitmo, or we're supposed to have closed Gitmo. That's not closed. I mean, whether you agree with these things or not, folks, the point is nothing changes no matter who is in charge. And when are we going to wake up and get that? No matter who. Give me a prediction for the future, because you've been really good at it. You said, I guess it was, I'm going to guess back in May, even before the primaries of last year, that you said Obama was our next president. You had already predicted that way before the election. I don't remember when. Give me some prognostications for the next year or so. What do you see coming?
Well, March is a month to watch out for economically, because they're going to have to start tapering. And when they do, interest rates are going to go up, and this false economy is going to really crash. The bond market will explode. So that's the time to look at. And by the way, when one positive for Obama, and I'm a political atheist, as you can tell, I don't believe in any of this stuff. Great news with Iran. If the Japanese and the Germans and the Vietnamese could have been our mortal enemies, we didn't have a war with Iran. It's time for peace. And it'll be good for the economy, by the way, because there'll be a lot more oil into the marketplace, and it'll bring down oil prices, and the less money that goes into the gas tank, that's good for the retail sales. More goes into the consumer. So, but the Israelis, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and the lobby in the United States are trying to stop this peace process. And all you have to do is look at the headlines. This thing did not make the big splash headlines. They're really downplaying it. So I think they're going to do everything they can to scuttle the agreement. No, but I'm all for peace.
Yeah, but my concern is that I don't know if we've really solved the problem about them having the nuclear capability. I've been
here every day. Pakistan, India, North Korea, Israel has 400 alleged nuclear warheads. This is propaganda stuff, as I see it. Where they're going to set off a nuclear weapon to somebody, and there'll be glass in 6 seconds.
In Iran, you say?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll retaliate. Iran hasn't attacked anybody anywhere in my lifetime or the lifetime before. You look at the United States. We're in Afghanistan. We're in Iraq.
What about
Come on.
Okay.
They want to go.
All right. But what about killing their own people by the thousands?
Hey, look, that's none of my business. They all kill their own people. Look around the world. Look at the founding fathers of this country. Stay out of foreign entanglements. Anybody that wants to go fight somebody else, pack up your gear and go. Leave me out of their psycho trip. It's one losing war after another. Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. How many more do you have to add up?
Got Gerald Celente again. He is, again, the author of I got a terrible connection. I got to run here, and you got to run. It's 9 o'clock, sir. Thank you. The TrendsJournal, and you can find out more about it. Just Google the TrendsJournal and read his predictions. Gerald Celente, spelled Celent. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.